All right, good morning, everybody. Please stand as you're able, and Bernice will lead us in this morning's opening song, Mercedes Benz by Janis Joplin.
Oh, Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? My friends all drive Porsches, I must make amends. Worked hard all my lifetime, no help from my friends. Oh, Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? Oh, Lord, won't you buy me a color TV? Dialing for dollars is trying to find me. I wait for delivery each day until 3. Oh, Lord, won't you buy me a color TV? Oh, Lord, won't you buy me a night on the town? I'm counting on you, Lord. Please don't let me down. Prove that you love me and buy the next round. Oh, Lord, won't you buy me a night on the town? Oh, Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? My friends all drive Porsches, I must make amends. Worked hard all my lifetime, no help from my friends. Oh, Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz?
All right, say good morning to each other. All right, good morning, everybody. So, Marcia, when you're ready, we're starting. Okay, so good morning, everybody. Just to continue from last week, this is another picture from Donna Russell from her. From one of her hikes, and so, boy, don't you remember when we used to get snow in April around here? You did? All right. Okay, well, I guess snow's a controversial topic these days, isn't it? All right. Well, as you can see today, I am sitting. I am hurting a lot, but that's okay. So we'll keep plugging through this. And at prayer time, I'll give an update on my condition. So let's keep plugging away here. Welcome to Unity of Flagstaff. All are welcome. If you're a first-time visitor, please feel free to drop a blue info card in the basket or return it to one of the greeters. We also have some white cards out there. It doesn't matter the color. It'll get to us the same. All righty. Let's get to our announcements. We have an Amazon wish list. If you haven't checked it out, there's the QR code. We also have the link in our newsletter. Our needs board, I have an update on the needs board. So the Amazon wish list is going so well, I'm going to create a second list that'll be the needs board, and we're going to try and migrate the whole thing online and see how that goes because it is going so well. So I don't know how quick we'll do that, but it's coming. So just keep an eye out for that. All right, have you seen us? We still haven't caught our friends, but that's okay. I haven't seen a lot of activity from them, so maybe they moved on, but we'll see. All right, this is a reminder. We have a call for platform assistance. If you would like to supplement the weekly message and you have something that's a message from your life that pertains to one of our principles, etc., you can come share it with us. Talk to me or Trina about signing up for that. It's time to submit your Mother's Day photos for the Mother's Day montage. And you can send in some fun pictures. If you've sent in pictures previously and you don't want to change, that's fine. Just let me or Trina know. All right, and hey, in case you didn't get the word, today's the annual meeting. We'll try and keep things moving at a brisk pace so that way we can get started about 12:15. We'll see how that goes. All right, and then it's that time again. Open mic night's coming up Saturday, May 2nd at 7 p.m. here in the center. If you have any questions, talk to Sandra. All right, Unity Coffee Hour. We're changing locations. We're going over to White Dove Coffee. Same time. It'll be on our Wednesday. Yes, and White Dove Coffee is one of our sponsors. So anyways, if you show up at Campus Coffee and nobody's there, that's why. If you need the address, you can look it up online, or there's other folks in the room that can assist you with that. All right, book study. We're taking a break until May 17th. The book's to be announced. We have a couple options we're sorting through, so we'll let everybody know. If you own a local business, you can advertise in our newsletter. Here's the pricing for that. And here is our current business partner. Let's give them a round of applause. I have a new business sponsorship that will be in next week. So that's exciting. We got another one. And we'll share more details about that next week. So keep an eye out here and in the newsletter. All right. We are here to support you in affirmative prayer. You can ask your prayer partner. Prayer partners, if you're in the room, please raise your hands. Prayer partners will be available after today's service over here at the Serenity Room. You can call 1-800-NOW-PRAY for 24/7 prayer support. We also have a prayer box. Michael, if you please. All right, thank you, Michael. Yes, we have a prayer box over there. You can write in your prayers, and they'll be held in consciousness for 30 days. You can also contact the center here at 928-526-8893. You can do call or text, and I'll make sure it gets to the prayer team. All right, and now I'd like to welcome up Mr. Steve Huffman for opening prayer. He's our guest musician, prayer partner, minister search committee, and our friend. Come on up, Steve.
No, I can look over your shoulder. That's fine. Oh, thank you. Okay. Hi, everybody. So please join me in a short opening prayer and close your eyes if it's comfortable for you. So let's open our awareness to a greater possibility in our own lives, to a greater possibility and a greater abundance of all good in our individual lives, in the lives of our families, and of Unity of Flagstaff. And let's open to greater inspiration and greater joy. So it is.
So for prayers and gratitudes, here's my update. Tomorrow I'm getting my spinal injection around noon, so very thankful that's happening. I hope to be pain-free here very soon and back to normal here very quick. Actually better than normal, because I've had a lot of pain for a while. So let's be better than normal after this spinal injection tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Sean, and we'll know that you're continuing to heal and feel better. So, would anyone like to share a gratitude or a prayer request? Please raise your hand and we'll get a mic to you.
Oh, I guess I get to go first. Well, it's been a while since I've been here, but I have a lot of gratitudes stored up. A lot of good things have happened. Sorry. Okay, I hope everyone can hear me. Okay, so my daughter, whom I moved here to be in Flagstaff with, she's decided to go to Australia and leave Dad up here alone, which understandable. She's an exchange student for 6 months. She invited me recently to visit her in Tasmania. It's not even a real place, is it? Well, I found out it is. I just got back from a trip there exploring rainforests. 38 miles of hiking, got a little bit sore, but it was beautiful. Beautiful. I saw creatures that are so strange to me. So strange. And, okay, anyway, I got to spend a week with my daughter on her semester break, which was, I'm just thrilled that she wants to spend time with me. Back now, my other daughter, I have to be extremely grateful. She's graduating from high school. She's at the top of her class. I guess finals week is now, but if it goes as well, she will be valedictorian. So I'm exceptionally proud of her. Don't worry, she didn't get it from me. And she's recently decided to go into the Naval Academy, and she'll be starting that at the beginning of August. Who knows? I guess I'll have to spend some time out in Maryland now. And let's see, one more thing, and I was before concerned about a reorganization at my work. But I and my entire team made it through the reorganization without any losses. And actually, there's an extra position that I need to fill. So things are going well.
All right, it's me that gets to talk. Years ago, I fell off my mule and I was a little bit, I'm still incapacitated, but I'm doing all I can to get by. But Helen and I walked out to Shoshone Point on Tuesday, and it's only a mile up and a mile back. I used to live in the house closest to that, but I did it. I was able to do it. My body has. I got to keep going into the garage, blast it, but it's still going, and I did it. I couldn't keep up with Helen with her walking. No.
Good morning. I am asking for prayers for Michael and myself. We both strained our backs last week. And I was not functioning for about 2 days. Well, it's been more than that for him, and it's been continuing to get worse. And now with my strained back, I have to do everything to take care of him. So I'm asking for prayers that we can get his back fixed very soon.
All right, well, let's all know for Cynthia and Michael wholeness and healing and strength for their backs. So it is.
Good morning, everybody. I have one of each, actually. I have a celebration. I received word from my youngest that their family is growing by one. I'm going to be a grandma again, and this time we're welcoming a little boy. So September of this year, we will have another one in our family, so I'm deeply, deeply grateful. And I do have a prayer request. One of my best friends in the entire world, who is my age, early 50s, is almost incapacitated with pain, back, hip issues, and is going in for an MRI on Monday, and has been struggling for a really, really long time. And so I just want to send some prayers out to her. Her name is Nova, and just that she can start living life the way it's meant to be again. And I'm proud to announce for myself, and it feels weird to brag on myself, but I became an ordained minister this week, and I opened up a brand new business called Authentically Ever After, which is weddings and ceremonies and healing rituals and things like that. So I am honored to be one of the newest sponsors up there and also a new business owner. So I am very excited. So thank you for helping be my springboard. So thank you.
All right, congratulations. And let's know for Sandra's friend Nova, her wholeness, energy, and guidance along the perfect path for healing. So it is.
I have a gratitude for my neighbor. I organized a bunch of her house yesterday after I did a 3-hour dance competition, my dance recital, and and then I had a lot of fun, and I'm grateful that I have a really nice neighbor.
All right.
And I also have one more. I'm grateful that my dance is coming up, and I feel really strong about knowing the dance, and I'm really happy about it.
Okay. Good news.
I have a gratitude for just a lot of people in my life who have stepped up recently when some challenging situations have come up, people who have listened and been very patient, reminded me to be patient, and that has been helpful even though I was kind of grumpy in the process. It was still good to receive good energy. And then I also have two prayer requests. The first one is that I'm sort of re-navigating getting my license, my SLPA license. So I would just like some prayers that that goes smoothly, because there's just been a little bit of a bump in the road and I feel like it can be overcome. But I would just really like some support that everything goes smoothly over the next few months and that I get my license and move forward in that direction. And then my other prayer request is for my boyfriend Daniel. He has a pinched nerve in his neck, and it's feeling a lot better now, but I just hope that he has perfect health and no further problems.
Okay, well, let's know for Carolyn, right action and success in obtaining her license, and for Daniel, healing and peace and forward motion with his neck pain. And so it is.
It is my mother-in-law Ellie's birthday today, my husband's mom, and she is, I think, 89, and just an amazing spreader of light in the world. She is just a delightful woman, and I'm grateful for every moment we still get to have with her here, because she's just a wonderful lady. So happy birthday to Ellie.
Okay, I think that's looks like everybody. So we collectively affirm with you and those you pray for and celebrate with that the presence of God is in all things. We know with you that God, the universe, spirit, whatever you call it, knows the details, and we're grateful for the power of prayer and the good news spoken. So it is.
Thank you, Steve. All right. I'm going to welcome up Elaine McKee. She's our meditation leader. She's on the Minister Search Committee, a volunteer, and our friend. Before she gets started, if you're watching online, can you let the AV guys know if sound's coming through okay? It's kind of quiet in the room. We're going to take a moment and double check it here.
Hello? Yes, hello? Yes, there it is. It takes it a little bit. Good morning and welcome to Unity. Nicely done. It's a wonderful day. Recently, a Sunday speaker here named Tom Gebler spoke of something I had not heard of, the 4 agreements. Several of you also knew of them. I found a book by Don Miguel Ruiz and learned about these 4 agreements, which I will briefly share with you today in a few minutes. These spiritual teachings come from the Toltec, a society of women and men of knowledge who formed a society in Mexico to explore and conserve spiritual knowledge. In these few moments together, I'll offer my simplified overview of what could be a very long discourse on this information. And on a side note, unity principle, which I forgot to do first, we'll go ahead and do it right now because it fits right in with what I want to say. except it's not up. Oh, there it is. So let's do unity principle number 5 and say it with me. It is not enough to understand spiritual teachings. We must live the truth we know. And so that is always, in my mind, tools, not rules. So what are these 4 agreements? The first one is, be impeccable with your word. In other words, tell the truth. It's powerful, but it may be difficult to honor at times. Our use of words is our power to create. But like a sword, it has 2 edges. And depending on how you use your word, it can set you free. Or your word can enslave you more than you know. We often have learned just the opposite. To lie, to curse, to gossip, to blame, to shade the truth. So truth is the most important part of being impeccable with your word. And the next 3 agreements are born of this first one. The second one is don't take anything personally. If you take it personally, you agree with what was said. We tend to interpret things said to us as about us. But nothing most people do or say about you, even if it is said directly true, is true. Taking things personally makes us easy prey to predators. If you do take something personally, you're likely to become defensive or to set yourself up to suffer for nothing. The third agreement, don't make assumptions. We all tend to make assumptions about everything because we believe they're the truth. The sadness and drama in our lives are rooted in making assumptions, creating fantasies, and taking things personally. We often make assumptions that our partners or family members know what we think and want because they know us so well. So we think we don't have to say what we want. We make assumptions that others think, feel, or judge the same way we do. The way to prevent making assumptions, or to keep from making them is, what is it? To ask questions. Ask questions. And the fourth agreement is always do your best. You know, these all sound so everyday and simple and not even sacred, huh? But these are really the fundamentals. Under any circumstance, always do your best. Remember that your best will not be the same from moment to moment. And if you try too hard to do your best, you will spend more energy than is needed. And in the end, your best will not be enough. If you overdo, you deplete your body and go against yourself. If you do less than your best, you subject yourself to frustration, guilt, and regret. It is the joy of our action that brings us intense happiness, and the first 3 agreements work best only if we do our best. There's a very interesting little example. Thank you. This is a short little story from the book The 4 Agreements. The first 3 agreements will work only if you do your best. But don't expect you'll always be able to be impeccable with your word or even to do your best. The habits of misusing your word, this actually does not look like the right thing. I'm going to tell you what it was because something has happened to my book. So a supplicant went to the Buddhist master to learn to meditate. And he said, I'd like to meditate 2 hours a day. And if I do that, how long will it take me to transcend? And the master said, 10 years. So the inquirer said, well, what if I meditate 8 hours a day? Then how long will it take? 20 years. So we tend to think if we work harder, sometimes we'll do better. So I hope you enjoyed the 4 agreements, and you might be interested in learning more.
Thank you, Elaine. See, being PA is easy, right? Yeah. All right. And now let me welcome up today's guest speaker, Sabrina Johnson. And we'll play musical chairs here while she gets settled, and we'll get ready to lean into meditation.
Okay, we're going to do this beautiful chant by Angela Taylor, who's one of my Unity classmates and has given permission for us to use this. And we'll start with peace. 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 I am peace. I am peace. Love. Love. I am love. I am love. Joy. Joy. I am joy. I am joy. Wisdom. Wisdom. I am wisdom. I am wisdom. Strength. Strength. I am strength. I am strength. Power. Power. I am power. I am power. Beauty. Beauty. I am beauty. I am beauty. Divine. Divine. I am divine. I am divine. I am. I am. I am. I am. I am. So we just rest in the silence for a short time, knowing that I am the most powerful words, for I am is God within us, as us, through us. I am an individualized expression, an emanation of all that God is. I am. God is. so it is.
Everything in the place was really well maintained when the guru was around. Polished, neatly folded, and perfectly arranged when the guru was around. Asked him all our questions and his answers made it clear exactly how far it is from India to here, and his every word convinced us that we walked on solid ground when the guru was around. Roses on the hillside, they did their best to bloom when the guru was around. We would scatter petals on the mat outside his room when the guru was around. To follow someone blindly, it's a blessing and a curse. Never being led, it could have led us to much worse. So we wake up every morning and spend an hour upside down when the guru was around. Nothing is the same as it was in the day when the guru was around. Took down all his photographs and changed the plans we made when the guru was around. Found out he was human and we let him fall from grace. We began to doubt the world could be a better place, as if the truth were different from the truth that he passed down when the guru was around. As if the truth were different from the truth that we passed down when the guru was around. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Bernice. That is just beautiful.
Thanks, Sabrina.
Thank you. Okay, So last week I spoke about money. It's a two-part series. So this week we'll do part 2. And it really could be kind of a mini series because there's so much. But it's a good beginning. And before I start, would one person, I invite one person who would like to share very briefly, maybe just one sentence, anything they learned or resonated with last week. Anyone? Okay. Well, that's okay. I'll tell you what I shared last week. So what I shared was that when we know our oneness with God, that we are each and every one of us individualized expressions and emanations of God, then we understand that the all-sufficiency of God is already within us. It will never not be within us. It's always there. And so we are the very spiritual image and likeness of God, because that's how God created us. So each one of us have all of the attributes of God, just as we meditated upon. Each one of us, we have all of those same attributes in infinite potential to be expressed and experienced. So we are peace, joy, harmony, beauty, light, balance, strength, wisdom, love, and yes, abundant prosperity. The whole shebang. So I'd like to start once again by going into how can we truly understand this all-sufficiency of God that's within us and believe that it's so with this unshakable conviction of faith. How can we do that? And I am going to once again share words of Co-Unity founder Charles Fillmore from his book Prosperity. But before I begin, as you may have noticed if you were here last week or read his book, his language is a bit antiquated, especially when it comes to the use of the word man. So we're going to know he means all humans. So he writes, Jesus said that it is hard for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. This does not mean that it is because of his wealth, for the poor man gets in no faster or easier. It's not money, but the thoughts that men hold about money. He means all humans. Its source, its ownership, its use that keep them out of the kingdom. So this is so important. I'm going to repeat it. It's the thoughts that we hold about money. Its source, its ownership, and its use that keep us out of the kingdom. We are all heirs to the kingdom of God. It's already given to us as the kingdom of God consciousness that we have access to and can dwell in. It's the consciousness of knowing our absolute oneness with God, just as Jesus Christ did. And so it's the Christ consciousness that dwells in the kingdom of God. And this is true for each and every one of us. But it's our error, thoughts, and beliefs that keep us from entering that kingdom that's already ours. For we have all of the potential within us to co-manifest with God everything that we truly desire or need. So let's go over this threefold activity of manifestation together. It starts in divine God mind. And from there, we receive divine ideas. And then we decree a thing, and it is established unto us. Now, it doesn't work if we say, I'm going to make this order and decision, that's a decree, and it's done for me. No, there's a whole lot more. For it's a co-collaboration of co-manifestation with God. Co, meaning with God. It's us in co-partnership with God. But then again, we have free will. God gave us free will. So if we want, we can choose to say, I'll go it alone without consciously choosing to engage in sacred partnership with God. And I'll just say, I decree this, and it's done. See what happens. Because there's no substance behind this decree. There's no divine substance of divine idea behind this decree to make it manifest from the formless into formal. It isn't done. So when we decree a thing and it's done according to our decree, it is we in sacred partnership with our Father, Mother, God, with Spirit, or however you may wish to refer to your higher power. It is we in sacred partnership that decree a thing is done, and it's done according to our decree. That's our sacred partnership decree. When we consciously choose to establish ourselves in sacred partnership of oneness with God, then we know the source of all that is as one infinite, eternal, divine source of all substance, that being God. It's the source of everything. So now that we know the source of everything, including money, and we have that thought established in mind, we can look at the ownership of all things, including money. And I love talking about this. So when I bought my first house, it was in what I called an Mayberry RFD type of neighborhood. It was small townish and cozy and quaint, kind of like what you would have seen on the Andy Griffith show. And if you don't know the show, you can YouTube it. So I was just moved in, overflowing with joyful gratitude for this house that I got to buy with a loan from the bank. And it was in this charming neighborhood that I had had my eye on for quite some time. It was the type of neighborhood where kids would play in the street, softball, and ride their bikes until it was nighttime. And I was just so very grateful that I got to move into this house. And every morning, I would take a walk through this neighborhood and pass by the cutest houses and thank God for this bounty. And it was a bounty that grew with every step I took, and with every morning walk, it just grew. For the bounty was the beauty of my neighbor's apricot-colored roses that looked like a miniature apricot orchard with roses around the apricots. And it was the pomegranate tree that grew in my neighbor's front yard that was so huge, and the branches hung so heavy with these rich, red, fat balls of gem-like seeds that were bursting open. And it was the generosity of that same neighbor who told me to help myself to these fruits. And it was the white picket fence that was laced with flowers that looked like lilac. And it was the perfume that came from all of these gardens just melding together into the sweetest, sweetest scent. And then there was this one little bungalow that I made sure to pass each weekday morning at a certain specific time, because that's when the father would get ready to leave for work. And his little 3-year-old toddler would come out and yell, "I love you, Daddy." So I just was filled with gratitude for this. And here's where ownership comes in. Yes, I own my house, along with the bank that had the note on it. But in a sense, I also owned the neighborhood and all of the beauty because I got to take it in on my walks. So let's look at this idea of ownership as set forth by Charles Fillmore, again, in Prosperity. He writes, every thought of personal possession must be dropped out of mind before men can come into the realization of the invisible supply. They cannot possess money, houses, or land selfishly because they cannot possess the universal ideas for which the symbols stand. No man can possess any idea as his own permanently. So think about this. The neighbor's roses, the other neighbor's pomegranate tree, the white picket fence laced with these lilac kind of flowers, and the sweet fragrance that just filled the air, and the little child yelling to his daddy, I love you. Who owned all of this? Did the neighbor who planted the rose bushes own the roses? Well, yes and no. She paid for the roses, and she paid for the land in which they were planted, but she didn't possess them as to exclude me from enjoying them. And in that enjoyment, I also owned the roses, for I had the possession of the experience of delighting in their beauty. The neighbor with the pomegranate tree owned the tree, and he owned the land that it was planted on, but he didn't own my pleasure of being able to see those big red fruits hanging low on the branches. And he didn't own my enjoyment of eating the sweet fruits that he gave me. The neighbors with the little boy yelling and telling his daddy, I love you. He didn't own that moment. They didn't own that moment that I looked forward to each weekday morning. All of these things which we may believe we have in our possession, even the child, for some parents claim children as their own. All of these things we really don't own because they are things that we're given possession of in joint ownership. So the neighborhood that I enjoyed, all of its beauty, I was given possession of in joint ownership with the neighbors because it was an experience. So it wasn't a permanent possession, but a temporary one. And this temporary ownership also included my own little bungalow. Now notice I said my little bungalow, not our little bungalow. I had title to the house, but the bank also had its name on the title. That's a fact. But the spiritual truth behind this could also be seen in the same light, in that it was my home, but it was also held in co-ownership with the one infinite, eternal, divine banker that gave me the divine idea that I could have this home and also gave me the divine ideas of how to go about it. Now, I love listening to people and how they share about what they believe is theirs. So I listen carefully for the possessive pronouns. For example, sometimes when I'm talking with a newlywed, they may refer to their spouse as my husband or my wife. It's like now that they've officially tied the knot, they can claim their spouse as theirs, like mine. I own that person. But then years later, sometimes you can hear a shift in that thought and relationship when you may hear instead the wife or the husband, right? Or when we witness a toddler who's first discovering the wonders of the world around them and realize that they can just have this very easy way of reaching out and grasping anything they want and claiming it as all mine, all mine. Some adults do this too. Anyways, To remind myself of the illusion of ownership, I tell the story of how one day I was looking out my backyard and I saw this big yellow swarming bubble. And I looked closer and I realized it was a swarm of bees. So I called the bee man who came out to fix the problem. And what he told me was that he said, I think we have a similar experience here at Unity of Flagstaff. He said, your rats chewed into your back neighbor's office shed roof and made a space for bees to build a hive for their queen. So I said, my rats? And he said, well, yes. He said, your apple and fig trees attract the rats, so they're your rats. So now I possess my very own rats. So now that we understand the source of our money and of all things, that being God, the substance of God, and the ownership and possession of money and all things, that being temporary for its only experience and the symbol that it stands for, knowing that we can't really own or possess anything except that material symbol, what does it mean when we say my money or my house or my car? Yes, many times there is a joint ownership with the bank that may have given the loan for the house or the car. But as I also said, it's joint ownership with God. This co-ownership has a specific word that applies not just to money, but to all material possessions, as well as to our bodies, our time, our energy, our relationships, to the one home we all share called Mother Earth, to all life. And this word is called stewardship. We are stewards of God. The idea of stewardship is that God has given us dominion over all that God has entrusted to us, to care for it in co-partnership with God. We do this understanding that what is ours as in what God gives us stewardship of. Not ownership of, but stewardship of, to use so that we can live a life of joyful, abundant prosperity as stewards of God, as stewards of God's substance made manifest, as stewards of God's good. In the book, Unity Metaphysics, it says that Charles and Myrtle Fillmore took the concept of stewardship very much to heart and made it a cornerstone of the Unity organization. And we can do the same in our own individual lives. If we see ourselves as stewards of God's good with exclusive ownership of nothing, we avoid trouble. Prosperity is the wages for stewardship. And this form of prosperity can be permanent. Part of this stewardship is conscious spending, like what I talked about last week, comparing prices, not buying things on first impulse. But another part of this stewardship is choosing with wise discernment how we give money. Fillmore writes, if we have freely received, we must freely give and keep substance going. Confident in our understanding that supply is unlimited and that it is always right at hand in the omnipresent mind of God. In this understanding, we can stand the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, depressions, losses, and financial failures, and still see God as abundant substance waiting to come into manifestation. So now I'm going to give a story about giving and receiving before I close. 3 years ago, I was working remote from home. All my career, I've worked for entertainment talent attorneys. And when I moved to Prescott, Arizona, I was fortunate enough to be able to work remote from home when the office itself, bless you, was in Century City, bless you, was in Century City, California. And this was something I was so extremely grateful for, that at one point in time when it was so busy that I really had, there was just no boundaries at all as far as my work hours. I could get a text at 6 o'clock in the morning asking me to do something, or at 8:30 at night. I never said anything because I said I felt so grateful that I could work remote from home. And around the same time, it seemed as though there was a whole lot of stuff going on with various friends. One friend, her grandson, was hospitalized after an accident, and he didn't have insurance, and he had a family to support, so there was a GoFundMe for him. Another friend had a recurrence of cancer, bless you, and was using her savings to help pay for someone to help her at home, and was running out of savings. And there was a whole lot of this kind of stuff. So before I continue, I want to make it very clear that I didn't look at any of these circumstances as something that money could fix. Again, I'll quote Fillmore. You may think that you could live better and do more good if you had lots of money. Things would not be a bit better if you had $1 million, unless you also had the understanding to use it for the good of yourself and others. Would you give $1 million to a child to go buy candy and ice cream for himself? We must evolve with our possessions until we get the ability to handle them. So I understood all of this stuff with my friends to be about thoughts about money, error thoughts and beliefs as to the source, ownership, and use of money, but not about money itself, not about the appearance of a lack of money. Knowing this, I also know that I've had a past where I've tended to have a bit of codependent behavior. So I prayed and contemplated about how to give to these various friends who appeared, the key word being appeared, to be in need of money. What came out of this time in communion with God was that, first of all, I knew that no matter how much I gave, it would not help the individual that I was giving money to change their consciousness as to money. It couldn't change their consciousness no matter how much. And it couldn't change their error belief about a lack of money. And as much as I would like to believe in the illusion that I have such power to be able to make such a change in their consciousness, I know that I don't. It's something that each one of us have to do for ourselves. So second, knowing that this wouldn't change their money consciousness, I also understood that for these friends, the gift of money represented the gift of love. My friend loves her grandson, and so a GoFundMe contribution made to his healing and hospitalization costs would be seen as a gift of love to her loved one. Money is energy, and when used with the highest consciousness, it is an exchange of the highest energy of love. Third, I knew from past experience that when I got the divine nudge to give, I had a choice if I wanted to follow that nudge or not, or as I used to do, which was argue with God. Now, God wasn't arguing with me. Rather, I was just arguing with God. And the conversations would go something like, but that's my money. My money. Get that? Like I had exclusive ownership of it. It's all mine. Or I don't want to give that $100 to someone that person who will always be in lack. Get the judgment call that I used as my defense and my argument. The argument was also mine. But God was just being God and saying, yes, you have the free will to do as you choose. So taking all of this in, I ended up following the divine nudge and giving around $800 in that 1 week. At the end of the week, I said, okay, God, I'm not arguing, I'm not complaining, but wow, $800 just seems like a lot. And then I went into my home office and started my Friday morning. And about an hour or so later, my boss called me, and he said that he and his partners realized that I had been working really hard and been giving a lot of hours. And so he said that as a recognition of that, effective immediately, they were giving me a 15% raise. Now that $800 didn't seem like so much. But this is what happens when we understand that giving with an open heart is receiving with a grateful heart all the blessings of knowing beyond knowing that as the divine offspring of God, we are all heirs to the riches of the kingdom. And we can know this on a deeper level each and every day as we do our spiritual practice of prayer and meditation. And as we go into that place of silent communion with our Father, Mother, God, Spirit, whatever you want to call it, and we know with absolute doubt that that is who we are. I am. I am. So once again, I'll close in prayer with the words of Charles Fillmore. There is plenty of substance for all. We are standing in the very midst of it. Like the fish, we might ask, where is the water? When we live and move and have our very being in it, it is in the water, in the air, everywhere, abounding, glorious, spiritual substance. God is the source of a mighty stream of substance, and you are a tributary of that stream, a channel of expression. Blessing the substance increases the flow. If your money supply is low or your purse seems empty, take it in your hands and bless it. See it filled with the living substance ready to become manifest. As you prepare your meals, bless the food with the thought of spiritual substance. When you dress, bless your garments and realize that you are being constantly clothed with God's substance. Do not center your thoughts on yourself, your interest, your gains or losses, but realize the universal nature of substance. The more conscious you become of the presence of the living substance, the more it will manifest itself for you, and the richer will be the common good of all. And so it is. Amen.
When Sean told me the topic this week, I was like, I don't know. Usually I sing about other things. But I wrote this song a long time ago when I was first kind of in the beginning of my career, and I had a post office box, the kind with little. And I guess this was a little bit of a prayer of what I would find in it on a regular basis as a self-employed folk musician, right? So there's a song about that, and you can sing along, you can sing with me, or you can sing against me. Either one is going to work. More credit card offers than anyone needs. More magazines than I could ever read. Electric, gas, rent, trash, water, cable, internet. I haven't even opened my email yet. Instead of all this postal bull, I want to open the mailbox, find it full of checks and love letters. Checks and love letters. And now would the world be a whole lot better if all we ever got were... That's right. I take baby announcements, birthday cards, pretty pictures of beaches with fond regards, handwritten invitations, rebates, refunds. Sign me up for chocolate of the month club. If it were all up to me, I would cancel my subscription to reality. Send me checks and love letters, checks and love letters. How would the world be a whole lot better if all we ever got was such an old-fashioned feeling to see my name written in ink on pretty colored paper. Well, it tickles me pink. If you wanna be my hero, just add a few more X's and zeros. Yeah, if I didn't have to work day and night, I'd have lots and lots and lots of time to write you checks and love letters, checks and love letters. Yeah, wouldn't the world be a whole lot better if all we ever got were checks and love letters? Thank you. I never imagined playing that song for a spiritual gathering. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
All right, let's prepare for our celebration of abundance. Yes, I'll take love letters.
They're both good.
Yeah. All righty, and today's board basket blesser is Dawn.
I'm going to have you repeat after me. Our board consciousness is abundant. We are an abundant and thriving community. And our second board consciousness is the new minister. We are attracting the perfect new minister for Unity of Flagstaff, who leads and inspires us into our next phase of spiritual growth and service. Oh, sorry. We release our limitations and give from abundance. We are abundant. Thank you, Spirit. What? I'm sorry.
All right. I'm here to remind you about ways to give. You can give checks and love letters. You can give through Zelle. This QR code works best through your banking app. This is also in our newsletter and online. You can send snail mail to our P.O. Box, P.O. Box 1740, Flagstaff, Arizona 86002. And you can also give towards our investment account. If you'd like to do that, please let me know outside of the service just to make sure that it goes to the right spot. All righty. And let's bring those baskets up here. Yeah, full. All right. Say this with me. Thank you for this bounty. Thank you for this community. Thank you for the good we do and will do. We are joy-filled, and so it is. All right, if you'll please stand for our closing number. We're going to reprise the first verse of Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, ready? Oh, Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? My friends all drive Porsches. I must make amends. Worked hard all my lifetime, no help from my friends. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz?
All right. Can I get my helpers up here for the prayer of protection? Come on up. All righty. Let's make sure she's muted so we don't squelch this week. All right. The light of God surrounds us. Claim the light. The love of God enfolds us. Claim the love. The power of God protects us. Claim the power. The presence of God watches over us. Claim the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Create an amazing week, everybody. Thank you. Go ahead and take a few minutes to go take a potty break, and we'll get this room flipped for the annual meeting, and we'll get the potluck dishes out, and we'll get started in about 20 minutes or so.